For as long as I can remember, my dad has always been obsessed with finding the right girl. And by finding the right girl, he wanted to also build the perfect family. Hi, I'm Aaron, and I'm here to tell you the story of how I ended up getting a new family every morning. Before I tell you the rest of my story, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell icon to show your support for me. I don't even remember who or what happened to my mom. Dad never talked about her either. But every morning when I wake up, I'd be greeted by a different family. Usually, my new stepmoms would have kids of their own. But more often than not, none of them ever lasted more than 24 hours. Dad never ran out of applicants. He was rich and famous. Everyone wanted to be his wife. And every kid wanted to be his kid. I was the only one who actually was. One day when I was around 10, I got a stepmom who, as soon as she met me and served me breakfast, told me she was a gold digger. She wasn't shy about it or tried to hide it at all. You know, Aaron, I'm gonna tell you something. Don't expect me to act like your mom, okay? I don't want to be your mom. Honestly, I'm just here for your dad's money. And if you can make my time here easier, I promise we'll have the best time. And she meant it. I don't know why, but maybe because I just wanted to have a stepmom who stayed longer than the others. So I agreed to what she wanted. If she was going to be a fun mom, then I was going to help her stick around. Gold Digger Mom drove me to school but never dropped me off. Instead, she drove us to the nearest theme park where she took me on every ride. Even the dangerous ones. I had so much fun. We went on roller coasters, the Gravitron. She even won me a bunch of stuff on the arcades. And after our fourth time on the ride, the park simply called Murder Mountain, Gold Digger Mom finally took me aside and said, "It's Mommy's turn to have a good time, yes?" I nodded. Gold Digger Mom had my dad's credit card with her. She took me to the mall where she bought herself clothes from every store, and then she bought laptops, phones, and cameras. After all that, we hit the jewelry stores. She bought diamond necklaces and sapphire rings, ruby earrings, and platinum bracelets. And as if she would never run out of energy, we then went to the shoe shops. She must have gotten herself 100 pairs. By late afternoon, she finally ran out of steam. And so, to relax, she took me to a spa where we got foot massages, and a lady smeared mud all over my face. I found that extremely weird. By then, we were already late for getting home. My dad was wondering if Gold Digger Mom had forgotten to pick me up at school, and so he called. Gold Digger Mom panicked. She surely didn't want Dad to suspect anything, and so she told him that she just took me out to the museum. And to make me lie for her, she bought me a bunch of games and even a brand new PC. All charged to my dad's card, of course. I mean, she was totally leeching off Dad. But to me, she was awesome. Sure, she bought herself a lot of stuff, but she spoiled me too. She even snuck me a bowl of ice cream after dinner when I was already in bed. And then she said, "Don't breathe a word of our adventures to your dad, okay?" I nodded. Of course I wished she'd stay forever. And then she kissed me on the forehead and said goodnight. But the next morning, she was gone. Dad had found out. I barely had time to cry about Gold Digger Mom being gone when the next stepmom arrived. And the cycle went on until when I was 16, the weirdest of my stepmoms yet arrived. She was obsessed with looking and acting young, and her girlfriends, who she brought with her to stay at our house, were exactly the same. All they did all day was talk about anti-aging creams and Botox and surgery. They came on a Saturday, and so I was stuck with them at home. Dad was called away on business, so I had nothing to do except entertain and get to know my new stepmom and her friends. I wanted to disappear and play my games in my rooms, but they kept following me. They all sat on my bed and tried to get me to hang out with them. They asked me about girls and how it was being a teenager. "Hey, Aaron, do you think we look young for our age?" It was an odd question, and I didn't really know how to respond. I didn't want to offend anyone, of course. Yeah, you all do." They giggled and patted each other's backs. "Hey, Aaron, you know what? Why don't we go and hang out at the mall like you teenagers do? Do you think some kids would hit on us?" I don't know. Kids don't really hang out at malls anymore." "What? Then what do they do?" "TikTok?" And that's how we spent all morning and afternoon, just taking cringe videos and uploading them. I, of course, was their cameraman. And it was honestly brutally awkward. But hey, it made them happy, somehow. So I let them do what they wanted. I taught them how to edit clips, and by the end of the day, they had at least 50 TikToks on each of their new accounts. At that point, I guess I was just desperate for some sort of permanence, so I just wanted every stepmom to work out for my dad. I did everything I could to help them. But by morning, youth-obsessed mom and her girlfriends were nowhere to be seen. When I turned 21, I was lucky enough to get a girlfriend. I went to college with her, and when she found out that I got a new stepmom every day, she found to be both fascinating and a bit creepy. One day, while she was staying over at my place, she met one of my newest stepmoms, and it was a shock for her. The girl looked younger than she was. Excuse me. Lisa, was it? But, are you sure you're old enough to get married? Yeah, duh. I'm like 18 and all. My girlfriend turned to me. You know I love you, right? Yeah? But, this is too weird. Are you really gonna have a stepmom who's younger than me? I know it's weird, but that's just my dad. I can't change him. Believe me, I tried. And then, my new stepmom suddenly interrupted our conversation. I mean, you're only a few years older than me, Aaron. I'm thinking, if it doesn't work out between your dad and I, you and me could, you know. Ew, gross. My girlfriend pushed my new stepmom and then turned to me. Are you really gonna let her say all that in front of me? I, of course, did not know how to respond. I was never a big fan of confrontation, so I stumbled on my words. And when I couldn't get an instant answer, my girlfriend slapped me on the face and left. She texted me that we were over. My new stepmom didn't leave my room. No matter how much I told her she was being weird, she wouldn't leave me alone. She kept hugging me and she even tried to kiss me. You just look like your dad when he was younger. You know, I wouldn't mind marrying you, too. What are you talking about? Please, if Dad finds out what you've been saying, he'll send you away, too. I don't care, as long as you become my new boyfriend. That's never gonna happen. But you're single now, aren't you? Yeah, thanks to you, so leave me alone. Just then, my dad walked in. He saw a young stepmom hugging me. I froze. I thought for sure he'd fly into rage. Instead, my dad smiled. Ah, how sweet. You guys are getting along so well already. I'm glad you're being affectionate with Aaron. I've always thought he needed more mothering. Young stepmom behaved differently around Dad. She was always so nice and obedient and angelic. But the moment Dad was away, she'd come after me. She was always trying to get me to kiss her. But miracles of miracles, young stepmom was not gone by the second day. Nor was she gone by the third. She was with us for about 7 days. During those days, she took care of Dad and made him laugh and acted like she was madly in love with him. But whenever he wasn't looking, she'd try to hold my hand or kiss me. She even snuck into my room once. I woke up with her face in front of mine and I screamed. When my dad came running, young stepmom pretended like she was just there to wake me up for school, and that I was having a nightmare. I couldn't tell my dad the truth, of course. It was the first time ever that someone was able to stay my stepmom for that long. And even I wanted it to work out for my dad. Unfortunately, that weekend, my dad found something out about young stepmom. Get out! Get out of my house right now! What? Just because I'm your niece? You're kicking me out? Yes! I can't marry my own sister's daughter! Are you crazy? You're crazy! My mom was totally right about you when she told me why you kicked her out of the house. You think you're so high and mighty? Can't even send us some money. You didn't earn a cent of it. Your whole family. You're all just a bunch of swindlers. My dad shut the door on young stepmom's face. Turned out, Dad had a sister who also tried to trick him into marrying her the moment he got rich. And so, Dad banished her from his life and took out a restraining order against her. He didn't recognize young stepmom was his niece because he never even knew his sister had a baby. I thought that was the weirdest one of my stepmoms yet, but I was not prepared for the next ones.